Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Books, Scares, and Purrs. My name's Leslie, and yes, you have come across my channel, which is largely a booktube channel, and it's morphed into a little more than that ever since AMC's adaptation of Interview with the Vampire came out. I'm also discussing the television adaptation of Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles. And this is a very special time right now because um, there's a lovely, lovely person, King Nickey, who has their directorial debut that has come out. It's free. It's available to watch on YouTube, and it's called Apples. And it really mixes quite a few themes that, if you're a fan of Interview with the Vampire, you may just be interested in King Nickey's horror film directorial debut. It's definitely an ambitious first project. There are definitely some like biblical, political themes going on, and she just rocks hard on it, which really kind of sucked me in. Anyways, getting to the point. If I'm going to discuss this movie, I was trying to figure out how to discuss it. I'm going to do it in the only way that I really can, which is with uh, book references. So we'll kind of try to weave those in and see if I'm remotely someone that you could make any sense of this. All right, so it's a short horror film, and the protagonist is Kara, played by Preeti Dharma Barapu, who did an excellent job because they really have to carry the film throughout. This is a movie that takes place in one particular setting at the home of the main character. And they are at a crossroads. They are at a point in their life where they have to make a big decision. But intermingled with that is maybe not knowing if they're just slowly unraveling on their own or if there's potentially this larger force at work. And that really reminded me of a couple of books and really kind of sucked me in for what I look in, not just books, but movies too. And that is a character that kind of has you like leaning in, if that makes any sense. And this is not spoiler, so I'm trying my best to kind of like, how do I do the not give it away, but be vague, but talk about what worked for it. And again, that's the protagonist. There's a play that was written into like a book, Leanne Howe, Savage Conversations. And this talks about Mary Todd Lincoln towards the end of her life. And it's really a reflection of some terrible things that her husband did and she's culpable in. And it's very isolating, taking place in one setting. And so when I was watching King Nickey's movie Apples, I really had this on my mind. There's a couple of movies, I was saying books and a movie that came to mind. The other one, which are mentioned in my just like a quick short review at a theater reaction, was The Yellow Wallpaper and Other Writings by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. This is I guess considered like a classic, well known. And one of the short stories is about a woman, and as you're reading them, you just get a sense that they're slowly going mad in their room. And that's also something else that King Nickey's short horror film reminded me of. Lastly, I would say, And Then She Fell by Alicia Elliott, who's an author. I read their short story collection that was nonfiction. It's like memoir-esque. This is also their dive into science fiction horror. I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah, they're also an indigenous writer. Again, this is a woman dealing with things that, society says, or there's like a certain expectation on women and what they should be able to get through. And so if you're into any of these books, if you've read them and they piqued your interest, then you're definitely going to be interested in what King Nickey explores in apples. Speaking of apples, I liked that to tell the story, she used apples as a symbol. Yes, we know that well as like a biblical reference, and I definitely feel like that very much plays into the dialogue that the I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say author director is trying to relate to us because Nickey also wrote, directed, produced, and edited this. So they're like a one man show, if you will. All right, so there are other characters that kind of come into play. I don't want to talk too much about all of them. The other one that is very much in conflict in some ways is a character Mars, and so they have their agenda, what they want, what they need, and really it's about does that align with the main character, Kiara? Does that work for them? Um, so I think I may have mentioned this before, but yes, it takes place all in Kiara's home, and there's something about that that gives like a sense of isolation, and that really worked for me. I'm trying to think about what else. There's I don't know how much to say. There's this external force at play, and so I really liked um, the makeup. There's a key makeup artist, Nicole Davis, and they did like a great job. Hair as well was Jakari Davis. Did another. I mean, they both did a great job. So again, the storytelling was great. I do have my notes, but I feel like some of my notes are a little bit spoilery. I definitely like the directorial choices as far as angles because this is taking place all within like a home. There's only like so much shots you could do. Sometimes when I see films that are independent and have like limited locations, sometimes they go too big or there'll be shots and I just think like it's unnecessary. And I'm like, I could kind of tell that the director is just trying to like show off what they could potentially do for something bigger. And that always turns me off. It always takes me out of the film. Believe me, I've seen them where I'm just like, this is like, you're wasting my time here. And so the director really utilized um, the space in a way that really worked for the film, and that is dependent on how they direct. I at no point felt like I was taken out of the movie because of like camera choices. And I bring that up once again because I've seen some independent movies where you have to, at the bare minimum, know that like do not distract me, especially with when it's like a short film. So yeah, I don't know that really like struck me, but that from the beginning to the end, at no point was like distracted in that way, and that's really important. Sound. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Okay. Let's hop on over to critiques a little bit. Um, sound. I think. No, I just wanted to feel like I could. I just felt like the sound needed to be like a little bit better. I don't know what to say. It had nothing to do with sound mixing, since sound mixing is a whole other thing. But I think maybe I don't know if they didn't have mics on them or like where the mic boom was at, but I felt like that could have been a little bit better. Um, as far as how the story moves, I just wanted a little bit more movement, and that would also create like a little more of a sense of tension. Um, and also, Kiara and Mars, I felt like uh, these are people that have a history together, and yet they're in conflict. So I just wanted to have them feel when we see them on screen some sort of chemistry, and I think that could have happened, like the illusion of chemistry, if they were just closer, because it seems like they're kind of like far apart. in some of the scenes, and so that stuck out to me. Lastly, as a reference, there's a movie with Simon Pegg called Fantastic Fear of Everything. And although that doesn't necessarily just take place at one location, you are following Simon Pegg's character quite a bit in a way that feels very isolating, yet there's still movement. And so I guess that's what I'm talking about in terms of like how the story flows. But overall, I liked it quite a bit. I don't want to say too much. It's like I don't know how much to say. Um, so I'm gonna leave it there. But if you want to discuss in more of a spoiler context, please feel free to go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know if you've seen this yet. I know I put out a little like short video for it. So let me know if you were enticed to watch it, what you thought. This really did bring me back actually to when I was younger and I just had friends that were like involved in film. So I had a lot of fun with it. Overall, it was an absolute delight, and I look forward to anything else that King Nickey puts out. I definitely have. I think now I have some questions. I have some questions for King Nickey, so we'll see where that goes. All right, everyone, please remember to just. Oh, where do we start? Life is absolute chaos. So just be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and read more books. Bye.